bankers and put them in Wyoming. Like, why would they need to fly out from Washington to Wyoming? All right. So let's just kind of morning everybody. Look, with the market, we're right at a sweet spot now. We didn't get over that 190. We've been looking at that 190 on the QQQs for quite a bit, right? On the hourly, it looked like it was an imminent breakdown. This gap today is actually going to take a little bit of the range out of this. Hold on, let me move my desk a little bit. That's better. Hold on one sec. Cool. So now we've got a failure here at 190. If you're looking, we've got a gap down into the market. The reason that the market is gapping down is, right, we're stuck at that resistance. We couldn't get over it. Now we've got Federal Reserve meeting in Wyoming or some shit today. I think Powell speaks at 10. So just be mindful of dislocations in the market. It may be chop around till he goes and says whatever he's going to say. You know, expectations are, right, that, the market's expecting interest rate cuts and this and that and blah, 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 right? And some handouts and some cookies and all of that kind of fun stuff that everybody goes, Danny, how you doing, buddy, by the way? How you doing? So just kind of be like really be vigilant today. I think this is going to be a little bit of a tricky day. Cool. Now, we've got ourselves, if we close under this 9 EMA here, that's going to really take us down into the bottom of the trend line. It's really this bottom of the trend line. If that breaks, that's really where kind of all hell gets loose. As of the moment, we're just in a range. And so when you're in a range, it's like one day everything's going to feel good, then the next day everything's going to feel bad in the market. We're just in a news-driven cycle, and so it's important to just stay clean on your plays. There's more than enough earnings plays and things going to keep you busy if you're not able to switch back and forth. So like in our chat room, because we got, 100, 200 degenerates who can, switch in a hot second from long to short, it's easy whether the market's up or down. If it's flipping around, we can do that. But most people, right, if you can't monitor the markets that fast or just your fingers and brains don't move that fast, then you sit out and just wait for the right opportunity and be really selective. There's two different types of day traders, right? There's the snipers that sit and wait all day for like the right one. And then there's like the people like us, like how we trade, which is we see opportunities, we take them and we take them fast, and then we flip it and dip it and do everything we have to just so so we can make money. And that's the way I like to trade. That's the way I teach you guys. But for those that's just too fast for, then be a sniper and just wait for the trend to set in the market for that perfect one or two plays. And you can trade like that too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not as fun. Let's take a look at some of the gappers for today. I think the best one is FL, right? We've been kind of going over this one. Guys, if this is ORBs, if this thing busts under if this thing busts under 36, 70, 50, I think really quickly then it should shred to the downside. Hey, Sam, what's up? Guarav, what's up? Mr. Food, how you doing, Marv? How you doing? Danny Mac, all the Canadians use Trade Zero. Josh uses it, and some of the other Canadians do. So what you should be saying, Danny, is does anyone use Trade Zero, but is anyone Canadian? And those people will be using Trade Zero for the most part. HPQ, this one's also busting down these lows. It's a much thicker stock. Much thicker stock. It's if it can stay under this 18 spot, then like you can see this is like a longer term rollover pattern. Let's look at the weekly chart here real quick. So if you look at the weekly chart, this is a big rollover here. This is like essentially a head and shoulders times five head and shoulders within the longer term head and shoulders. And it's busting under the 200 SMA on the weekly, which for like longer term traders and investors is actually really important. I think this is going to be in play today. We'll be able to take a short on it at some point. It's just a matter of entry. When they're that thick and you have like so much float, you don't necessarily get the cleanest like range. Like if you noticed the other day, like when like Cree dropped, right? Like when Cree dropped, one of the reasons that Cree can like drop like that, one of the reasons that Cree can drop from your 56 to 48 and do it within like 30 minutes or 2 hours is that, you know, there's only 100 million share float on this thing. So if it gets hit with bad news, right, it's just like you can get more range out of it. Like the odds of like, you know, HPQ moving like even 3 points is basically none. So just kind of be mindful of that. On the regular side, there's no other good gappers that I can see. I know some people were asking about OPTT. Not my cup of tea, but you can see over here like it's busting over these MAs, so you may have a chance on it, but like it's already fading off pre-market, a good chunk of its gains, and it's Friday, and you know what that means, right? You take a small cap trade on a Friday and you lose, you're gonna feel the pain. Your wife's gonna be yelling at you for 2 days minimum. Woo! That sounds like a bad weekend. So that's why you don't trade stuff like OPTT on Fridays if you're married or with children, because frankly, you'll look at your son's face and be like, man, he bothers me. And one day he's going to be like me. And that's not good, right? And then you're going to look at your wife and you're going to say, man, like, I can't believe I'm married to her and I took this OPTT. You're not going to like that stuff. So leave it alone unless it's just picture perfect. Hey, Miss Gift, what's up? How you doing? Now, let's take a look. So FSLY, yes, a couple people have been asked about this. I don't know how we missed this because this thing gapped down a couple days ago. We were like thinking this thing's breaking down the lows, and it's completely reversed. It's up like $10, 75% in the last few days. So you got to be careful. I'm actually thinking like if it shoots straight up into this, that it might be a short. So make sure you kind of reserve some borrows on this thing. It might be a short on this if it fails. But on weakness, if this thing kind of dips down, on weakness, you can hit it for the anticipation of the break. I mean, you can't argue with the volume and stuff like that. The issue is more like, is it too extended? I mean, the way it's acting, usually I've seen like, so this thing had earnings the other day. Usually when stocks act like this, they're going to get bought out soon or there's something up the sleeve. So you want to be hitting this on weakness. If you get like a big kind of, just a big flush out in the morning, I think you'll be able to hit this thing and play it. But do not chase it on strength. So when you have a stock that is up 6 days in a row, you cannot chase it on strength. You can hit it on dips. That's totally okay. But you cannot chase it on strength. So if like this thing shoots up at the open and you're like, oh my God, it's an IPO breakout, I got to get into it. Don't. Like that's not how you got to go. You got to hit it on the flush outs because right now it's a stock is like a rubber band. When you start stretching it and stretching it and stretching it, and then you chase it while it's stretched, it'll snap back. But as it's stretched, like if it loosens up a little bit, then you can hit it. So there's two different ways to always, think about a stock. On day ones and twos of a move, sometimes even day threes, you can hit a stock on strength. But when you're on day 4, day 5, day 6, you cannot chase strength. You can only chase on weakness. But it's a hot chart. There's no getting around it. That's going to be important. Man, this Keys was just smoking hot yesterday. 91 to 101. That's a $10 range for a $20 billion company. I mean, that's actually pretty incredible. It's gapping down $3 today. Watch this one for the red to green. This one has a chance. Like if this market rebounds today, then this one could go red to green and give us a nice few points out of it. I like that one. Tell is on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. Any strength on this, if this thing pops up into the 10 spot, I'm looking to roll this thing over and short it. It's actually gapping down in the morning, so I won't short it if it gaps down because remember with the rubber band, if it's super stretched, if you kind of unstretch it, right, deflate it a little bit, then you lose that range, right? So when you're going counter trend, that extra stretch is really, really important. You're gonna have to roll really precisely on those. And by the way, counter trend trading and shorting is like really the toughest setup to do in any market. So it's not really, it's not an easy one, that's for sure. Good, good, good. PVD, still like nice few days on this. I'd keep this on watch. This type of weakness is gapping down $1. Watch this one for the red to green today. This one has a chance. The earnings were knockouts. It is a little bit extended, but like big weakness on this. When you get like a stock that's got like pure momentum, remember like the support levels. Like if this thing comes back down into like say 29 or something like this, this is a 15-minute chart. If it comes down into 29 or something like that, watch for it to start to hold. And if it starts to hold, like you can re-ramp this thing back into the 31s. With the market busting lower here, yeah, you're going to have to keep the TVIX on watch. TVIX is just a day trading instrument, so you don't want to be really married to this thing. It's a day trading, scalping instrument. Never hold this stuff overnight. I personally don't because, like it's going to be, it's a decaying instrument. So, guys, it's Friday. Let's go have a little fun. Let's go do what we do. CRM, Elizabeth, is definitely something, you can put on the list. I'm just like a little bit worried about this resistance here. I don't know how it's going to act around kind of these levels. When I'm thinking about like a stock that's got an earnings or some type of breakout, what I really want to see is like clear levels, like it's breaking up or it's breaking down. I think that's going to be really important. So just kind of be mindful that, we got to always have like really, really clean stuff. All right? All right. Let's make this happen. Yeah, Mr. Olson, PVT was bio. All right. Ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.